What's going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NFL Betting Playbook. Week 14 is here, Howard. The football season, it's moving quick, man. I always say, we say this a lot of times here, all the work we do to get ready for the NFL season, and then 18 short weeks and a couple of weeks in the playoffs, and we're done by February, and it's crazy to think about, and we're already here, week 14, man.
We're already here. It's week 14. The season-long fantasy season is coming to a close. But, I mean, listen, we've got, 5 more weeks of regular season football, and then we've got another few weeks of playoff football and the Super Bowl. Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. I mean, I think we've been on the Fantasy Alarm family's been on a really nice tear. We've had a fantastic football season. It's a matter of closing it out strong, and then listen, before you guys all know it, the NFL draft is here and free agency is here. So there's really no off season for the NFL right now, right? Maybe the month of March, maybe, but you're still dealing with free agency stuff. So football is a 365-day situation here, and I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah,
I'm ready to bet.
100%. We hit a couple of our plays last week, which is nice. A lot of the totals came in. I said on the show I wanted to do like the under 7 points for the Vikings, but we were worried about 3 field goals. Yeah, they were never close to making any field goals in that game. So the plus 330, the under 14.5 cashed easily. The under 7.5 would have cashed pretty easily there as well. So let's see if we can replicate that success here, Howard. Your first player prop for the week, Chase Brown, over 53.5 rushing yards up against the Buffalo Bills.
That's a really low number, and I don't really understand why it's such a low number. He's gone over this in each of his last 3 games. He's gone over this in, 5 of his last 6 as well. And, here's the thing. You look at the Buffalo Bills, they're giving up the 3rd most rushing yards per game. They're giving up the 2nd highest yards per carry average. I think the problem is that everybody thinks that this is all Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. I think this is James Cook versus Chase Brown, personally. And listen, I think that Brown over 53.5 rushing yards when Buffalo's given up 5.2 yards per carry average this season. I think this one is I think this is a smash play for sure.
Dude, Chase Brown a couple weeks ago against the Patriots, who had one of the best run defenses in football, 19 for 107. Now, obviously, the Patriots defense didn't have Milton Williams. They were down Tyrus Tonga, so a couple of their big, beefy bodies in the middle there. But still, Patriots had number 2 run defense in football, and he ran for over 100 yards against them. So, and we were all kind of stunned at the slow start to the season that Chase Brown was having. So the numbers are really starting to come on. I'm a big fan of that play there as well. For me, I'm going to go here with Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Big matchup this week against the Indianapolis Colts. They're at home. Colts just ruled out Sauce Gardner for this matchup here. And I know when they get in the red zone, they do like to run the football. We saw ETN. We've seen Michelle Tootin. We get a lot of rushing work in the red zone this season. But 5 touchdown passes over the last 2 weeks now for Trevor Lawrence. Got Brian Thomas Jr. back. Jacoby Myers is making an impact. They got Brenton Strange back. They still have Parker Washington making plays for them. So this Liam Cohen offense, it's clicking right at the right part of the season for this Jacksonville Jaguars team here. Give me Lawrence over to the 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, I definitely I like the call here. It's very interesting not having Sauce Gardner. We saw a quick shift there with the Colts where they were using when they got, they acquired Sauce Gardner, they got Charvarius Ward back, and all of a sudden Lou Anarumo was running a ton of man coverage. Well, now they lost Sauce Gardner they lost him last week, and they went back to a lot of zone coverage there for themselves. Jacoby Myers thrives in zone coverage. Parker Washington does well in zone coverage as well. So, I definitely look at this situation here and say, as long as Lawrence doesn't shoot himself in the foot, right? Yeah. That's always his biggest problem.
But yeah, I think the red zone turnovers that Lawrence has thrown, there are plenty here, but I'm buying in. I'm bullish here on the Jaguars this week against the Colts.
I like it.
Your second pick here, you got Caleb Williams over 30.5 pass attempts matchup against the Green Bay Packers this week.
You're a big Caleb Williams guy. Doesn't that number seem low to you?
It does. They definitely throw the ball a ton. I'm not really as big at Caleb Williams. I think there's talent there. I don't think he's good enough yet, but I imagine they throw a ton in this spot.
I mean, I look at this game here and we'll talk about, when we do the game bets, but there's a reason the Packers are favored by 6.5. Everybody's like, oh, Ben Johnson and this offense is, really, kicking into high gear. Look what they did to the Eagles and they ran all over them and blah, 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 blah. Do you really genuinely think that, the tandem of Swift and Monangai is going to run all over Green Bay enough that, Caleb Williams is going to be throwing the football more than 30 times, 31 times in this game?
Yeah.
I look at this situation here as this to me is a real low number, and I think that it's a lot of the propaganda that people are just kind of buying into regarding Ben Johnson's team. I think the Bears are going to get a little bit of a rude awakening this week.
I mean, he's gone over this total in 6 straight games. The lowest pass attempt total during that stretch was 32 against the Vikings there. So. And those are games they won. So that's crazy.
But you kind of have to look at this and be like a little suspicious, right? And be like, why is it so low? But
they're underdogs, and it's the lowest total he's had in 6 games. Yeah, that seems
odd.
That's odd is a way to put it for sure. I'm trying to see like what the lines on that there. Let's see. Caleb Williams, Chicago. -1 dude. It's -130 in the under too. Like you're getting crazy.
Yeah, dude. I got it at -105 on BetMGM. I put that into the bet tracker over at Fantasy Alarm earlier today.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't understand it. I think I don't know. We're gonna have to.
We'll just play it. We'll just play it. Sometimes you don't ask questions. You just.
Yeah, I've got my reasonings. I'm playing it.
Listen, if you've watched the NBA DFS show for like 5 straight games. Sadiq Bey's been at 14.5 points. And I was like, just keep betting the over, people. 7 straight games now he's gone over 14.5. They don't move the line. He's gone over 7 straight games. And he did it again the other day. He scored 22 points. So we just keep making money on Sadiq Bey. We might just be printing money on Caleb Williams this week. I got Derrick Henry over 18.5 rushing attempts here in this matchup against Pittsburgh. We just saw what the Bills did to the Steelers defense running the football. And we also saw how hammered the Ravens were for their lack of usage for Derrick Henry against the Bengals. So I think this is kind of a course correction game. It's very clear that Lamar Jackson is not ready to lead this team with any sort of consistency. It's a prime time to run the football. Give me Derrick Henry over to the 18.5 rushing attempts.
Right on, man. Listen, you got to do it, especially if Lamar is not right. You got to have to lean at some point here on a guy like Henry. And that Pittsburgh run defense is not that great. It really isn't. Yes, TJ Watt is off the injury report, but he's a pass rusher. He's not a run stuffer. So
James Cook last week and Ray Davis and Ty John, like that whole crew just ran all over the Steelers defense last week. James Cook had 32 carries for 144. Derrick Henry coming off 10 carries in a game they lost to the Bengals. Yeah, I'm gonna say you're gonna get a heavy Derrick Henry workload this week. Darren Waller over 31.5. Your surprising pick here, given sort of your history with Darren Waller earlier this year. You were not a believer.
It wasn't a question of whether or not I was a believer. I wasn't a believer of whether or not he was going to get back on the field.
Sure.
That was the issue with Darren Waller. I wasn't going to sit there and stash Darren Waller. And for those of you, if you don't know, Andrew Cooper and I went back and forth on this. And I said, I'm not going to stash a guy like Darren Waller and eat a bench spot when we don't know, when his history has dictated that, that he doesn't. But then he came back and he played and he saw a 60% snap share, which was tasty, and they started utilizing him because there was no Tyreek Hill. Like that was the whole tipping point of it. Was I wasn't going to stash him waiting for the Tyreek Hill injury to happen. And then that's what happened. The Tyreek Hill injury happened. And then Waller stepped in and he was the number 2 targeted guy. Came back last week, had a couple of catches, some decent yardage on those, going up against the Jets, who rank, I think, like 27th or 28th in DVOA against the tight end. They're giving up a decent number of yards to that position. I think this is kind of again, also a little bit of a low number for the guy who's probably going to bump up to like a 50 to 60% snap share this week after sub 50 last week. And he's going to be targeted because they don't have any other pass catchers.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody else. So
no, I like it. I was just kind of giving you a little shit for it.
You give me shit all you want. I don't care.
That's fine.
I don't care.
My final player prop pick here. We're going to go with the one that's been cashing now for a couple of weeks here.
Jacoby. Oh, it's Davante Adams. Look at you.
Davante Adams first TD plus 450. They get in the red zone and they just throw to this guy. I've said now for a couple of weeks, there's no value in taking his first TD or the anytime touchdown prop anymore. It's like minus 200. But you get plus 400 now for back-to-back weeks on his first touchdown, and he's been scoring. So, yes, it's long shot odds, obviously, here. But, I mean, good matchup against Arizona Cardinals this week. They're coming off that loss against Carolina. They're on the road again. They're going to get down there. They're going to score. And when they get in the red zone, Matthew Stafford's looking for one man, that man. We're getting 4.5 to 1 on the play. We'll take it.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is that I think the average distance. How many touchdown catches does Davante Adams have on the year?
12 now or 13?
He's got 14. He's got 14. Do you know what his average yards for per touchdown are?
2.5.
It's like a little less than that. I think it's like 2.3.
Yeah.
Not
shocked. Not shocked. They just throw these fades or these quick ins, and he catches everything. So Davante Adams plus 450. Let's go get that money this week with the first time touchdown. Going on over to our spread picks. You got Packers minus 6.5 here. You took Caleb Williams pass attempts because you think they're going to be trailing in this game. Packers minus 6.5.
I mean, I do. You look at the scenario. This line seems very suspicious to me. Very, very suspicious. I know that the Packers, they beat the Lions last week, right? And that was huge. They're on a 3-game win streak, but everything has been about the Bears. Everything's been about the Bears and Ben Johnson, and they're the number 1 seed. And obviously this whole offense is firing on all cylinders, and everything that we saw and everything that we witnessed from Chicago on the Black Friday game, why are they like almost a full touchdown underdog here, even on the road in Lambeau? Because you can't say that Lambeau is like this haven because they're 1-2 in their last 3 games at Lambeau Field, and those losses came to the Panthers and to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you look at, if everything's, pointing towards Ben Johnson being this crazy genius guy and the Bears, why are they a 6.5 point dog? That to me is Vegas begging you to take the Bears and be like, oh, it's a divisional matchup. And of course they can cover that. And it'll be a tight game the entire way. It might be a tight game, but Green Bay will win it by at least a touchdown.
Yep. I got for my first spread pick here, Commanders minus 1.5. Jaden Daniels is going to play. Makes Commanders look all that better. I would have probably taken them even if Mariota was playing, because I just don't believe in the quarterback that's in the other side of this game. And this week it's going to be J.J. McCarthy again. I'm just betting against him, really. He's looked so bad. The offense is frustrated with him. They're going to just try to run the football here against the Commanders. The wide receivers are healthy for the Commanders. Daniels wasn't a throwing arm injury. It was the other arm that was hurt. So I'm going to believe in the better quarterback and take what I think is probably the better team when that quarterback's on the field and the Commanders given 1.5 this week.
I stayed away from this game. I was like all set to use to talk about Jordan Mason's rushing props. And then I saw Aaron Jones was back. I'm like, never mind. This is going to be an interesting game, but I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a believer in Daniels over McCarthy there. You got Bengals Bills first half under 26.5.
again, everybody's like it's Burrow and Allen and Burrow and Chase against Josh Allen and his array of weapons, and maybe they're going to get Dalton Kincaid back. And look at how bad Cincinnati is against the tight end. These two teams right here are the second and third worst run defenses. They give up the second and third most rushing yards. They give up the second and third most yards per carry average. You can't tell me that the plan isn't going to be to run James Cook and run Chase Brown early on, establish whatever kind of ground game you can establish here, and just kind of like slow going just for the first half. Can be a Wild West shootout in the second half. I couldn't care less, but I just think we're going to be a little disappointed here in the amount of scoring that we're not going to see in this first one, especially after we just saw Dallas and Detroit put up like over 70 points combined.
Listen, it's not like these offenses have been clicking all season long, so I could definitely see a disappointing first half in this one. And they do lean the running backs, which they've obviously been the way Cook has ran this week. I could see the under. That's not. It's a contrarian play bender. I'll give you that. Most people are expecting a lot of points in that game. I'm taking Jacksonville plus 1.5. I just think they win. I think they beat the Colts this week. Home, Cohen, they got things going. They got a healthier offense. Daniel Jones' leg is broken. I don't know how he's playing. They're down Sauce Gardner. Sure, Jonathan Taylor could run for 200 yards maybe, but I don't know, man. Something down in Duval. It's working for me. Jacksonville plus 1.5.
Duval. I will not argue against this pick here. I do like the Colts, not in the sense for this game, just in general. I like them probably because I've been riding Jonathan Taylor all season long, but I will. I listen. I hope you win. You know what? Because the Colts could win this game 21-20.
They could,
and you still win, Johnny.
1.5. I got the hook. Your next bet. You got the Jets plus 3. You homer.
Yeah. Come on.
Ty God Taylor out here.
What's that?
Ty God Taylor helping you guys out. Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor. So I think this offense actually looks much more balanced now that you've got Tyrod Taylor sitting under center right now. And he's got weapons that he's actually utilizing properly in Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie. You splash in a little Mason Taylor here also because the Dolphins suck against the tight end. I look at this game here, and I know, Devon Achane is an absolute stud. And I was looking at his rushing totals and things like that. But, again, it's the very Jet thing to do to win a game that doesn't mean anything overall. Although it could, it definitely takes Miami out of the conversation for the playoffs if they were to lose this one. I just, listen, Jets at home. I just hate Miami's defense so much. I really do. I've always hated Miami's defense so much. So sure. This will be a little bit of a homer pick. Tail if you want. I looked, it was like, I think it was like minus 110 when I got it here at plus 3. It was minus 148 if I wanted to buy the extra hook.
Yeah.
I was tempted to do it, but I was like, let's just do it here.
Yeah. Listen, it could honestly go either way. Taylor is a better quarterback than Fields. So I'll give you that there. Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed both questionable for Sunday. So, Packers offense getting a little healthier there. My final pick. That was a mistake. What was my final pick here? What did I copy? Bengals plus 6 was my final pick.
There you go.
Bengals plus 6. Not the I like the Devontae Adams first touchdown so much I put it twice. Bengals plus 6 is where my final play was for this one. Again, I just think that the Bills aren't that good of a team. I think that they're not good enough to blow out Cincinnati with Joe Burrow back. T. Higgins is expected to play again this week. They have Jamar Chase. I like Chase Brown. The Bengals defense is actually kind of ticked up a little bit of late as well. And you're just seeing the Bills offense be super inconsistent this season. So if it is going to be an under game, if it's going to be a ground attack for both teams, give me the plus 6 points there. So that's where I'm going. Even though it doesn't show it on the screen, that is Bengals plus 6.
Dude, you know how much I hate the Bills offense. Yeah. So, we've talked about it here ad nauseum. So Listen, I would love to see the Bengals. I'd love to see the Bengals just win this one outright. I really would. But getting 6 points here, 100%, man. 100%. I like it.
All right, so those are our Week 14 NFL bets. All of them will be in our NFL Expert Pick Tracker. You can find that over at Fantasy Alarm. Right now, we do have our Cyber Week sale still going on. 50% off through 2026. It's promo code CM50, fantasyalarm.com/cyber. This deal ends Sunday, so you are running out of time if you haven't signed up. We're up almost 100 units for the NFL season so far. You can get all of our plays over again at Fantasy Alarm as a subscriber for all sports, not just the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB when that swings back around, college football, college basketball, MMA, you name it. We bet on it, and you have your picks there as part of your all-pro package. Also, you get your DFS, your seasonal content, your draft guides, your cheat sheets. All of that is included. Premium Discord access as well. So all-pro equals all access, and you're getting it for just $19.99 a month, 50% off for the rest of, well, for all of 2026 there, Howard.
I love that deal, baby. I love that deal. I mean, listen, don't make a mistake and pass up on this thing. Like a full year and a month of this kind of price, because, you know, and I've had people who've asked me, they've been like, oh, well, you know, I'm just a football person. Okay, that's fine that you're just a football person. But like we just said at the top of this show, there is no football off season anymore. A month after the Super Bowl, we're already talking about best bets for draft picks, and the NFL draft starts in the end of April. So we're working up through all of that, and I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, listen, I think it's great. I have at least 3 more bets already in the bet tracker for this weekend, on top of what you guys just saw here on the show. So do yourselves a favor. I mean, I don't know anybody who would be upset about being up almost 100 units in week 14 of the NFL season. So get some, baby.
I agree.
Get some.
All right, guys. Good luck this week. Let's go make some money.